What's going on? In this video, I'm going to be talking about why you are stuck at 10, 20, 30, 40, 50K per month and how to actually get a leveraged business model that has the ability to go past 10, 20, 30, 40, 50K per month and to go up to like 100K per month, right? This channel is solely dedicated to taking people like yourself, hopefully like yourself, maybe it didn't target you right or YouTube algorithm sucks, who knows, but taking people like yourself to $100,000 every single month in monthly recurring revenue or revenue in general. Not always recurring because recurring have some issues with that. And I'm going to be talking about that today. But in this video, I'm going to show you how to get yourself the highest likelihood of actually being able to scale, right? So first thing we need to talk about before we talk about any of this is leverage, right? If you are in a unleveraged business model, and I'm not telling you to change your business model before you click on, oh, I don't want to change my business model. I like the way I am. I agree. I don't think you should change your business model. You have all these gurus, Alex Hormozi, Iman Gadzhi, all these people telling you got to change your industry. I don't believe in that. I think you need to stick to one thing for the long term and stay with it, and that's how you actually scale. But the biggest thing in scaling, right, is leverage. Now, what is leverage, right? If we have a lever, right, that is a terrible triangle, and I'm just going to erase that. If we have a lever, think of like a, what do they call them? Not a saw. Seesaw or whatever it is on a playground, right? Put pressure on one side, and this side's going to go up. Why? Because force on one side changes to force on another side. That's leverage. When you have enough leverage, you're able to actually create a business model that matters, right? This business model of an unleveraged business model is one that can maybe go to 5, 10, 20, 30K per month, but you can't really scale past that. You can't scale to 100K per month and actually hit your real revenue goals, not just like the stepping stone goals that a lot of people set, right? People will set these stepping stone goals. A lot of people have the goal of going to 10K per month, and that's cool and all, but like most people can't get there. Why? Because they're not actually in a leveraged business model, right? If your business model is not leveraged enough to go to 5 or 10K per month, you're not in a leveraged business model to go to 100K per month either. So you should just stop that business model. If you've been in a business for 5, 10, 20 years and you are not already at 100K per month, you probably shouldn't be in that business model if you want to go to 100K per month, right? The vehicle is the thing that actually sets the stone, right? So there's 3 things that we need to know. First is where we are at. Right? That's number 1 is where we're at, right? And then we need to figure out where we want to go, right? And think of this as a cliff, right? Here's our cliff. Here's a little valley down here, maybe some little water. Maybe you got like big homie here that tried to jump, didn't make it, right? These are the people that quit the business model. These are the people that try to change business models. The people that hear Iman Gadzhi talk about agencies, now they're starting an agency. And then they hear Bia Heza talk about drop shipping, now they go to drop shipping. And they hear another guru talk about Amazon FBA, and they say, hey, I need to go to Amazon FBA. And they hear another dude talk about YouTube Shorts, and now they're like, oh, I'm a YouTube Shorts specialist. I used to do the same thing. I think everybody in business has. I think majority of the people in the info space started in like whether it's drop shipping or one of those business models, and they went into something like this. This is where most people are at, right? Most people are here and they are about to drop off. What do you need to do? You need to figure out what this gap is, right? It's the next step is figure out what is the gap, right? What is the thing that's holding you back from where you're at to where you want to go, right? And then you need to be able to build a bridge over top of it, aka your solution, right? This is the solution or the product, right? What type of product am I talking about here, right? This is whatever you're selling. Right? So whether this is you, whether this is, you going across this or your audience going across this, you need to determine where you're at currently, where you want to go, the solution, the thing that can take you from where you're at to where you want to go, and this gap, right? Now, let me grab my eraser here. Right? So what do we want to talk about leverage? When I talk about leverage, we've talked about what it means, but how do we know if a business model is leveraged? Well, here's one thing that I see a lot, and I've struggled with this too, because I've had similar situations in my business, right? My business, I've been in business for around 6 years. So we say this is year 1, this is year 6, right? I went here. Actually, no, that's not actually accurate. I didn't really go here because there's ups and downs, right? I was here, kind of went up a little bit. Around year 4, I had a big jump. This is when I went to 12K per month, right? 12K per month. This is where I thought I was a big baller. Was going into college, ended up dropping out of college. Boom, video editing agency fails. Out the window, in the shitter, gone. Now what did I do? I went all in on the growth partner business, right? And I didn't see quick success. It grew steadily, and then we shot up, right? That's how business is. That's realistically what a business graph looks like, right? It takes a while. Once you get it, and then from here, you're gonna have drops, and it's gonna go up like that, right? There's gonna be ups and downs. That's how business works, especially when you're in something like growth partnering or growth consulting or whatever you wanna call it. Especially when you're in a business model like that, it's tricky. There's ups and downs. You put a lot of your eggs in one basket. It's a big problem that I see. It happens a lot, right? But there's basically three types of businesses. There's the ones where they put in 2x effort every month or every year, and they get the same output, no matter how much input they put in, right? Their input equation is fucked. They're always getting the same number, right? If we have our input, I always talk about the input-output equation. I think it's important that I draw it out, right? Here we have x, which is our multiplier. You've probably seen a function machine when you were in college or in some sort of mathematics class, right? You have an input and you have an output, right? So if we input 10 and our multiplier is 0, we're still going to get out 0. It's always going to be 0. That's where most people are, right? They're in a non-leveraged business model where they get out 1x, right? They get 1 for every output, or they get like 0.5 for every input. They get less out than they put in. Happens to all of us at the start. The goal is not to increase the amount of inputs, not just to increase the amount of inputs, because if we go to 20 here, and this is 0, we still get 0 out. We still get nothing out of it, right? So we do want to increase the inputs, but if we have 1 here, and we're able to take this to 5 or 10, now what? Now we take 20 to 100 versus 20 to 20, right? So just think about it, inputs and outputs. These people are the type of people that put in the inputs. They put in more inputs every month. They put in more inputs every year. This is what I did for the first probably 4 years that I was in business. I got the same thing out of it. Every single time I got the same thing out. I put in the same amount of input and I got the same thing out of it, right? There's another type of business. This is the business that has pretty steady scaling. It's slow scaling. I say it's slow. These are the people that go, they are putting in 2x input and they get 2x out. Those are the people that are like your 1 to 2 multipliers. And then you have your killers, right? This is what we call the killers. And these are the people that start out here, they start out slow, and then they go up exponentially, right? And this should be your goal. Your goal is to continue to grow your business exponentially, right? You don't have to have a multiplier here that's just a number. This can be exponential. And if you're able to get exponential growth out of your business, you're able to break free from the slavery trap, right? And this is where most people are, right? Most people rely on a business model like this, where they're doing 10x inputs, but they're getting the same thing out. You're doing 2x every month to get the same thing out, right? What you want to be doing is whenever you put in an input, you want to be getting as much out of it as possible, and you want to be multiplying as you go up, right? These are the businesses where as they scale, they get a heavier multiplier. Their multiplier goes up, right? This is like a 1x, right? I know y'all probably hate algebra. I'm a fucking algebra geek back in the day. Y equals mx plus b. This is like y equals 2x, right? Plus 1. Let's say plus 1, just to make it easy, right? That's that line on a graph. Algebraically, that's that line, right? This line here, we got y equals 1x, or x plus 1, right? We start at the same spot. We start at 1, but we just go the same route. No matter what we put in, we get 1 out. Just how it works. This is going to be our exponential line. And I actually don't really remember how to graph an exponential line. I didn't research for this video. I didn't do no math. I'm not no genius when it comes to algebra. I just know y equals mx plus b because I fucking had that shit ingrained into me. Exponential lines are where you want to be, right? That is your goal. As you scale up, so does the multiplier. So does the amount of outputs that you're actually getting out, right? So in theory, how do we create this type of business? Well, a lot of businesses start out, right? They start out in basically a poverty zone. That's what I call it. It's a poverty zone, right? I'm going to draw this out. I wrote out a few notes here on this, but basically it goes in a circle, right? A lot of people start out, their offer is shit. I'm going to state it blankly. Their offer is shit. It's terrible. Something that's commoditized, right? Commodity. And a lot of people, when they think of commoditized offer, they think of like toothpaste. They think of like stuff like that. It's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about here in commodity offers, things like video editing, copywriting. Everybody and their mom is now a copywriter. Now that Andrew Tate released a copywriting course in the real world. Who cares, right? Who cares? No one wants your copywriting services. I had a client, Romeo, that came to me. He was making $75 a month. That was his income that he made from his online business, $75 a month. And he had gone through a very prestigious copywriting course that I believe was $5K. Don't quote me on that, but I believe it was $5,000 that he spent. And he came to us, joined in our inner circle as kind of a last-ditch effort, and he's able to make like 20, 30K last month, something like that. I could be off on that number. I don't want to make things up like most of these gurus do, but he did very, very good numbers last month. How? He got his model out of a commodity offer, right? And then what happens is you go from this commoditized offer, you have low bookings, you just have low stats overall, right? This is low bookings, low close rate, low amount of things that you can actually get out of it, right? So now what do? Well, now you just lower your price because you're like, oh, well, there just isn't product market fit. There's problem solution fit, which problem solution fit is basically, is this something that solves a problem of the market, right? That's problem solution fit. Product market fit, or PMF, is, does this solve a problem that the market wants at a price point and in a method that they want, right? You might have product market, or you might have problem solution fit, but not product market fit. Why? Because when you have product market fit, you're able to actually determine what the ICP, what the audience wants, but also the way that you deliver it to them and the price point that you want. Most people skip this entire step. They say, oh, well, since this is a, commodity, I'm just gonna lower my price, make it cheaper. Here's the news. There's always someone that'll do it better. There's always someone that'll do it cheaper, right? I have people from the US pretty often reach out to me that are copywriters. What they don't know is that I have copywriters from the Philippines that I pay $3, $6, $10 an hour, depending on their skill level, that will do 10x what a person in the US would do, and they don't even do anything that's different. There's not anything better about the copy, right? I can use ChatGPT to write my copy. It's commoditized completely. Copywriting is terrible, right now. And so what you have to understand is that you need to add things on your offer so that it doesn't become a commodity, right? And then typically, now that this is such a low price, they don't have leverage to actually get results, right? Right? So they have zero leverage. And this is not a spot you want to be, right? Your goal in business is to get as leveraged as possible, right? Your goal is to become the most leveraged version of yourself that you can be, right? And so now you have a low retention rate, you have a low results, which equals to churn, meaning that people are leaving a lot of times month after month. People are leaving, right? And so now you can't afford to acquire better clients, and you just basically kill yourself here, right? The system breaks right there. It's not even really a flywheel. I should be sending this over here, and then people go here, and then they go over here. Well, what happens a lot of times actually, back up a second, is they come over here, they quit, and they go into another commoditized shit offer. They go into an offer that is terrible. They go into another shit offer because they say, well, this business model didn't work. Let me go find another one. They go to SaaS, or they go to agency owner, or now they're SMMA specialist. Hate to break it to you. No one cares. No one cares. And then what do they do now? A lot of people will break here. They go to a different offer, which is also commoditized, which is coaching, right? I have so many people that go into coaching because they didn't actually make any money with what they were doing, right? And I'll be completely transparent. When we first started in coaching, when we first decided to start coaching, we had no fucking clue what we were doing, right? We started coaching because we got a little tiny result, but we needed money. Coaching is a money grab. It is a get-rich-quick scheme. That's why we don't really work with coaches that much anymore. We do it every here and there, right? We still work with coaches, but we work with coaches who have actually made money because they haven't made money. They're just going to go do coaching and they're going to fail at that too because no one's going to buy their stuff. And now they started selling some sort of dumbass offer. Again, we're going to go back to the commoditized offer. They sell some dumbass offer. Like, oh, I'll change your mindset. No one cares. Here's the news. No one gives a flying fuck about your coaching offer unless you are a big dog, unless you make them care. No one cares until you make them care, right? So this is what happens. They go into coaching. Now they think they're hot shit because they moved into coaching. But in reality, if you want to actually scale a business, it's, the business models, as they change, they should change somewhat like this. They should change in a flywheel, but not this flywheel, right? You start out as a freelancer doing a skill, right? Then you ascend after you get that. After you fill your time completely, you fill your calendar, then you hire other people out and create an agency, right? And then from this agency, now, after you've succeeded with the agency, not failed with the agency, I saw a dude the other day that I actually went to one of his conferences. He met up with he does like content and stuff for a lot of huge people, Grant Cardone. He did it for Alex Hormozy. He's the dude that created Alex Hormozy Shorts, talking about how he sold coaching in this exact scenario. He was running an agency, profit was low, right? Because a lot of people will fuck up with an agency because they don't think about scalability, they don't think about profit, right? They just create a commoditized agency. But in reality, you can use these steps with whatever you're doing, whether it's freelance, whether it's agency, whatever it is. Freelance can easily take you to 10K per month without hiring anyone else, right? A lot of people, like Iman Gadzhi, will try to convince you to get into an agency before you've gone the freelance step, right? And I don't have a huge problem with that. I think that the agency model can really be ran by anybody, but if you don't know about video editing, how are you going to run an agency on video editing and your offer's still shit, right? So that's the biggest problem I have with it. But people will take their agency up to like 100K per month, right? That's typically, agencies can go above that, but in reality, it's not really that feasible for most agencies to go past 100K a month, right? So that's where people start to go in the coaching world. They typically, I guess, go one of two routes, right? They go into coaching, or they go into software, which software is genuinely probably the highest leverage thing that you can be doing, in my personal opinion. I run a few software companies, I do coaching, I run an agency, I do all of it, right? Now, how does this apply to me, right? Well, you can really do any of this stuff, but I run a software company that vertically integrates with my coaching business, that also vertically integrates with my agency, and this is just like a constant trifecta and basically a triangle of a bunch of different products. They're all vertically integrated. A lot of people will quit their agency to go all in on coaching. I think that's a bad idea. I think that you should have multiple offerings in there. That's personally what I think, right? Now, how do we actually fix this, right? How do we fix this entire problem here, right? So this is where we really go into building a better offer, right? Again, you can just basically change these things around. We go better offer. And then we basically are going to push people, now that we've solved the obstacles, we're able to help the clients with more things, right? And by the way that you decommoditize yourself, this might be the most crucial thing that I give throughout this video. The way you decommoditize yourself is by getting rid of other options, right? If I'm looking at video editing, I know that there's someone that can do it better and I know that there's someone that can do it cheaper. So instead of just handling video editing, you add more things onto your offering, right? Now, some people will go from video editing to being like a full stack video development agency, right? That's what I did. That was the first step I took because I went from freelancer video editor to hiring people to then taking my agency to another agency, right? I had the original video editing agency, and then I had a slightly more leveraged agency, right? I added a bit of leverage, but not a lot of leverage. I turned my video editing agency into like a full stack video development agency, right? We'd hire out people to do not just the editing, but also the script writing, the ideation. You know, I was on ChatGPT, I was on Jasper way before ChatGPT existed. Jasper is an AI software, copy.ai. I've been using that stuff since way before ChatGPT existed. I use that on all my high school essays, all my college essays, and you know, I don't feel like bad about talking about that. It's genuine truth, so it's what I did, right? It is what it is. But it doesn't really put you out there that much more, right? Going from someone who does video editing to someone who does video development, an offer isn't good unless someone is always actually looking for that offer, right? Most people aren't looking to get into the video space. And if they are, they'll hire someone from the Philippines and they'll think of the ideas themselves, right? So it's still a commoditized offer. There's other people that do it. Now what I do is consulting. I use my mind instead of using my body or using other people's body. Sounds weird because it sounds like it, you know, sounds a little like out there, but you kind of get what I mean, right? You either use your mind or you use your physical ability, right? So instead of using someone else's physical ability to do video editing, now I'm moving into somewhere where I can actually do more things. I use my mind, I use consulting, and I obviously have like a vertically integrated model. But after we get the better offer, we solve that problem, right? Now we're able to charge much higher ticket. And when I say high ticket, I'm not talking about 1K, right? Some of y'all, ooh, 1K is a lot. I think I'm just going to charge $500. If I hear that shit one more time, oh, my time's worth $100 an hour, so I'm going to charge $100 an hour for coaching. Puts you in the least leverage spot possible. That's why you can't do coaching, because people don't buy coaching anymore, right? People don't care about their mindset. People don't care about these things. They only buy coaching from the people who they actually trust, who are actually big dogs in the space, who are actually making money, right? There's a reason that someone like Alex Hormozi could sell coaching if he wanted to. People would eat that up. You see it with his live workshops, right? Why is he able to sell that? Because he's a killer in the industry. He's someone that people look up to and that he's given the value for already, right? And so now you're able to charge high ticket, which when I say high ticket, realistically, for something that's like a full-scale model where they're getting coaching, all of our softwares and agency, we're charging anywhere from 12 to 25K for that, for an actual business, right? You want to go target coaches, maybe you charge $500. I don't really care. If you really want to scale though, you get a better offer, you charge higher ticket. Now you take this high ticket and you put it into a team. Now you have money to pay people, right? And also, instead of charging some sort of retainer, where you're taking things month after month, you're taking $1,000 a month for 3 months, which is the typical model for coaching. And that's what we do for our coaching too, like just for reference. We do the same thing. We take a monthly rate times 3, or they can just pay it in full and get a discount. We want to incentivize them with the discount, right? So they can pay 1K by 3, or they can pay 3K up front. On high ticket, we're talking around like 12K up front. So if they want to split it into 2 payments, that's cool, but we don't really do more than like 2, maybe 3 payments on a bigger one, like a 25K, right? But we're saying high ticket, and then we're going to basically, now that we have the high ticket, we can actually figure out what we're offering. We can get the results, right? Because with this model, with the lower price, you have no leverage to pay people who know what they're doing. If you're able to charge 12 to 25K, right? If you're able to charge 12 to 25K for a high ticket deal, now you're able to pay a killer team, right? Team of killers. And now you can basically push those people into getting results. Now you actually get results for your clients, unlike over here, where you have no results, no churn. You're basically now getting results. And now you're able to make better offers because you understand the market better, and you're able to continue to sell this. This is an actual system that adds up, because the majority of people, the average person is just going to quit, right? It is business. Most businesses fail. Like 97% of businesses that are started in the US fail. Why? Because they get stuck in this system. They sell the same things as everyone else at lower prices or the same prices as everyone else, which is already too cheap. They can't deliver on a good service. They don't have a team. They don't have any capital or any leverage up front to be able to actually get the money in. They don't get any results. They have low results, so they get churn, and then they don't have any money to pay to acquire more customers. Because now with this result, you could increase your CAC, right? Your cost to acquire a customer. All right, so my camera just died, so I'm gonna redo the last part of this video real quick. Basically, in essence, Dan Kennedy said it best. The person who can spend the most money wins at the end of the day. And if you can spend more money to acquire customers over here, what are you paying? Maybe 6K for a team? That's kind of a stretch. Most people can do that for way cheaper if you're hiring from the Philippines. You can pay, get way better results with this, and now actually build a scalable business model, right? So that's in essence what I talked about for the rest of that next 5 minutes that I was yapping. You don't need to watch the whole thing, not that much context there, but basically your goal is to build this flywheel over here, because now if you're spending 6K to get a team, right, and you making 25K, now 19K to basically reinvest in the business. When you reinvest the 19K, now you're able to get paid to acquire a customer, right? Why wouldn't you want to get paid to acquire customers, right? That should be your goal, right? So when we're able to put that in there, our multiplier goes to 20x, right? If you have a 20x multiplier on your business, that means you are growing exponentially. That is the point at which you are continually growing month after month after month after month. And you're not just staying at 20x, because the more clients you get, the more money you can charge, because the more great results you have. This right here is a scalable business model, right? This is what you should be trying to build right here. That is the system that you need to use, not this bullshit, right? And so this video was basically everything that I would tell you if you were to get on a coaching call and have this problem, right? I get a lot of people who get on a coaching call, and this is their problem right here. It's their offer. Their offer is shit. They're in a commoditized vehicle. They're not able to go to where they want to go, right? And I do have coaching. I'm not going to sell you on it. I don't really care if you buy it. And honestly, you're probably not a good fit for it. So I'm not going to try to sell you on it, but what I will say is go ahead and subscribe to my daily newsletter down below. And yeah, go ahead and check that out. It's free. I don't charge for it. And like I said, people pay me anywhere from $1,000 to $5,000 for 1 hour of my time. And I just gave you around 30 minutes, so a half an hour. So let's say $500 to $2,500 worth of value right here. Probably more, because I actually condensed it a lot more than I would for a coaching client. So if that was valuable to you, I've just asked that you please subscribe to the channel. That's the big thing. And then 2, just subscribe to the newsletter. It's free. All it's going to ask for is your email, and you get daily sauce like this to your inbox. I don't hire some Filipino copywriter like I do for my clients. I actually write my own newsletters. Me or my business partner will write them. So go ahead and subscribe to our free daily newsletter down below, where you can get daily sauce on all of this kind of stuff. And yeah, I appreciate you watching. Other than that, if you got questions, leave them in the comments, and that'll be it for me. Peace.